Hi, and welcome to the Veterans Corner. My name is Chuck Wood, and as always, I'll be your host. We have actually a two-part series from the American Legion, and actually from the same group from the first part, which is it's great to see you guys again. Thanks for being here. And what I'll do is I'll start from my right, introduce the guests. We have a lot of information to cover on this show, so I'm going to make a quick introduction. To my right is Jim LaCourciere. Jim, welcome back. Jim's a past department commander. Whenever you hear department, that means a state commander. He's also the past Northeast vice commander on the national level. So, and he wears a number of hats. Founder of the American Legion Riders here in Connecticut. Welcome, Jim. To our right, we have Jane Wright. She's the director of Chapter 209 of the American Legion Riders. And she's the immediate past Unit 209 president of the auxiliary at the Forestville Post. And way off to my right, John Wright. You've probably seen his name many times on the credits. He's been a director of the show since day one, almost 100 shows ago. And,
yes, sir.
And just like with the first part, I'm going to let you introduce your titles because you wear many hats also.
Basically, Chuck, I'm the National Executive Committeeman for the Sons of the American Legion. I am currently the director of the American Legion Riders at the department level. I'm also squadron commander at Squadron 209. I'm sure there's a couple other ones that I...
Actually, between the three of you, I know, Jim, you've been around for a long time, and we'd probably have a whole show on all the hats that you've worn. Same with you, Jane, with the auxiliary. But we're going to be talking about the American Legion today, the American Legion family, its membership, and a lot of things that you don't normally hear about the American Legion. So let's just jump right into this. What is the American Legion all about?
The American Legion is actually based on what we call four pillars in today's society. That's the advocating for with Veterans Affairs and rehabilitation of our veterans, our national security throughout our great country, Americanism, and our children and youth. These are all the cornerstones of our nation, and we take a massive stance locally and nationally, and also lobbying on behalf of these same principles with Congress up in Washington, D.C., which we're gearing up for in a couple of weeks.
And what a lot of people don't realize is the American Legion is formed by Congress. It was chartered by Congress, not formed. It was actually over in France, right?
Over in France is where they started, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many aspects of the American Legion off those four pillars.
Absolutely.
For more information, if you really wanted to look into that, you would go to legion.org and just look up the information. It's a vast website, for the viewers. Now, I've heard that the VFW and the American Legion are slowly disappearing as the older generations of veterans pass on. What is your take on this?
We were actually, nationally, we were seeing and here in Connecticut, we've been seeing a massive slide over the years based on that principle. And it's up to us to go out there and identify veterans, to get them back in the fold, working with their families. And we're showing right now in Connecticut that the veterans are interested in being part of the American Legion, because we've actually stopped the slide here in Connecticut. From what we're seeing right now, we have membership goals out of what we call 55 departments, 55 territories nationally that form the American Legion. We've been holding within the top 5 in the nation all year, as far as our membership numbers go. So we've actually stopped what we call the backward slide, and we're proceeding forward now.
That's outstanding.
As a matter of fact, about I'll say 5 weeks ago, we were actually in first place in the nation for 36 hours.
Wow.
To me, that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
That's huge.
Nationally, though, I follow the numbers on a daily basis, with my department chairmanship,
Yep.
where I'm responsible for department membership. Right now, American Legion-wise, we have 1.75 million members of the American Legion nationwide. We're looking at about 800,000 members of the auxiliary, and 371,000 of the Sons of the American Legion. So we're looking at just under 3 million members that make up the Legion family.
Since you say that you look at the numbers almost on a daily basis, how are the numbers for the Sons and the auxiliary? Are they going up, down, stabilized?
The auxiliary right now is fairly holding steady. The Sons, at least here in Connecticut and nationally, it's still growing. On a national level, the Sons have been growing nationally every year for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
And right now, Connecticut, just like the American Legion, they're faring out very well with their Connecticut numbers and everything. So I'm going to say here in Connecticut, we've found the right steps forward, to promote our programs. And what we've been doing is making ourselves visible. Just like with anything else, if you want to make it work, you have to be visible.
Exposure.
Yeah, gotta get out there.
That's one thing that we preached. I mean, I host this show, but I've also been part of the Legion, as a district commander, and I know we've traveled around throughout Harford County.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing was you have to think outside the box. The old rules of getting memberships, and that's not only just with the Legion. That's with the
all the
Elks,
VSOs.
the Lions,
Anything.
all the organizations. You can't use the old ways of getting membership.
No.
You have to think outside the box.
Well, it's pretty much the line that we're going these days, because we've also been emphasizing, besides the community involvement, what we need to do, because the young service members that are returning home after 8 months, 1 year, 14 months of deployment, they want to be home with their families.
Yeah.
They don't care about the service organizations.
Yeah.
So how are we going to connect with them? We need to be involved with the community. We need to be involved with their kids' schools.
Yes.
We need to go into the schools, promote our programs that we have for the youth.
I just had a conversation today about that.
Okay,
Yes,
and
we
it's
did.
something that works, but we have to be visible. In other words, don't expect them to come to us if we can't bring our programs to them.
Yeah.
And we have to be more user-friendly.
You have to be out there in the public. I mean, a lot of folks don't realize that just because you're not a veteran doesn't mean you cannot be a part of the American Legion family.
That's right.
With the Sons and the auxiliary. I mean, all you have to really do is have a veteran in your immediate family or grandparents, right?
Yes.
Pretty much,
Or great-grandfather.
Yeah, great-grandfather. If you have that, you met that criteria, you too can be a member of the American Legion in your local
Family.
community.
Yeah. Yes. Chuck, they have to make sure their veteran that they're related to was after World War I.
Yes.
Can't go back. We've had questions. I've fielded questions where people have asked me, well, my father or great-great-grandfather served in the Spanish War.
American War.
Actually, mine did.
And it's like, well, I'd love to say yes.
Yeah.
But Congress tells us what we can go after. So.
Yeah, there's the membership is obviously very important, and it's great that Connecticut is stabilized and going forward. What type of programs does the American Legion family have to offer to show someone a reason to join, an incentive to join the American Legion? Or one of the auxiliary or the squadron Sons.
Chuck, honestly, there's so many different programs that deal with the veterans, deal with the children and youth of the communities. TFA, that's the emergency fund.
Yep.
There's the NFA. There's the Child Welfare Foundation. The Legacy Fund. which something we talked about on the previous show. That's a scholarship. That's a fund put together, raised by the technically the American Legion Riders, to help the veterans' children. So there's a lot of programs out there that most people don't know about.
That FAST website, legion.org.
Yeah.
But we're also tied in with a lot of the youth programs. The American Legion, the very first youth program that we ever picked up was Boy Scouts of America. And to this day, we still stand with the Boy Scouts of America. We have our annual Eagle Scout of the Year scholarship available. We do something here on the department level and also on the national level for scholarships. We have opportunities for the youth to receive scholarships. We educate them with various forms of government through our Boy State and Girl State.
Boy State, Girl State.
We educate them with our Constitution of the United States through our oratorical contest. We have Legion Baseball, State Police Youth Week, junior shooting sports. We also have, like John mentioned, where he was using the acronyms TFA, which is Temporary Financial Assistance, and NEF, which is the National Emergency Fund. In times of crisis or times when the veterans' families are strapped for the well-being of the child, is where we have the temporary financial assistance, and that's a one-time grant, up to $1,500, and that's based on the well-being of the child. So they must have a child in the household, and they must be a member of the American Legion family.
Yeah.
But now, with the TFA, that also, the one exception that we just had with the government shutdown, I will clarify that because we don't know what's going to happen in the next week and a half.
Right.
February 16th is around the corner. We don't know if we're going to face another government shutdown or not. But during the last government shutdown we had, the United States Coast Guard was not getting paid. So during that government shutdown, the American Legion stepped up. We activated our TFA for the United States Coast Guard, where we actually assisted quite a few families nationwide to help them get through for that paycheck. Normally, we don't assist active duty, to that extent. And what we also did, Chuck Berry, the administrator of the Soldier Sailors Marine Fund here in Connecticut, him and Mary Ann Rosinski, who handles our Hartford and Waterbury office, they took the Soldier Sailors Marine Fund a step further during the government shutdown, and they actually went to Bradley Airport to speak with the veterans that worked for TSA to let them know about the Soldier Sailors Marine Fund as well, which is also handled by the American Legion here in the state of Connecticut. So there's an awful lot.
I think folks don't realize that the American Legion is the world's largest wartime veterans organization.
Absolutely.
Followed very closely by the VFW.
Yes.
Another massive organization, VSO, that does a lot of great things for the veterans. But the American Legion is the world's largest wartime veterans organization. There's a lot of things about the American Legion that the general public doesn't know about.
No, well, that's like with our young soldiers returning home that turn around and they want to pick up their education. They want to go back to school and utilize their GI Bill. They don't realize that the GI Bill was actually formed through the American Legion. Yeah. And the original manuscripts are actually in our National Archives on display at National Headquarters in Indianapolis.
What is the department here in Connecticut? Now you had mentioned 55 departments. I think a lot of each state, that's a state.
Each state, yes.
Each state has a department, and there's departments in what, Guam, France?
Yeah, the Philippines, France, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, American Legion is just not here in the States. I mean, it's the same organization. It was formed initially, started in France. That's post number 1, right?
Post 1, and that was back in 1919. So we're actually in the year of our centennial, which we'll be celebrating celebrating the American Legion's 100th birthday in March of this year.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only a month away.
Yeah.
What is the American Legion here in Connecticut doing to keep the American Legion alive and prosperous for the next generation, the next century?
Well, we're out there talking to the communities. Like Jim said, we're being more visible.
Yeah.
We're actually putting ourselves out there. Jim and his committee are really getting out there into the public. We go out to Mohegan Sun for Vets Rock. We get into the home show. We're there to let the community know. We're educating them about the American Legion. And not just the American Legion, but the VSOs.
Yeah.
But primarily the American Legion, because we are American Legion family.
Well, there's a lot of, and once again, not to beat a dead horse, but it's so important to get out in the public.
Absolutely.
We've preached exposure, exposure, exposure. It's the only way the public knows. Otherwise, they stick to some of the old stigmas that are attached to the VSOs.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much good that these organizations, these VSOs do. I mean, like I said, once again, Legion.org.
Yes.
For more information, that's a great place to find it.
The department has their own website also.
Yes. What is that now? Is it
ctlegion.org?
Yeah, ctlegion.org, and that's for the Connecticut the department's website.
Yep.
There are so many veterans service organizations out there that. Why join the American Legion? What makes the American Legion, in your eyes, more attractive than maybe some of the others?
Look at us.
Yeah, right. You know what, Chuck? Honestly, I think it's because I believe we do more for the veterans.
Yeah.
We really get out there. We have service officers that from each community in our posts. We're reaching out to these people more so, I believe. Am I correct, Jim?
It's a good way to put it. I used to belong to 4 different veteran service organizations and everything, the Moose, Elks, things like that, but I decided to invest it all into the American Legion because of the 4 pillars, basically, is what sucked me right into it, especially the Americanism and the children and youth programs. I think our whole country embraces our commitment to national security.
Yeah, absolutely.
To our Americanism and our values, and especially to our future through the children and youth. And then we as veterans and veteran families, we embrace and support, the Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation, where we want full accountability, through our program System Worth Saving, There's so much that we can do. And the only way we're going to get the word out there is doing exactly what we've been doing and not sitting back, but bringing our programs and core values directly to the communities,
And it's just not, I mean, we're talking about the American Legion right now, but we also have the Sons of the American Legion, the American Legion Auxiliary, and they have their own programs. Do you want to mention a couple of the ones that the auxiliary has?
The auxiliary is, first of all, the American Legion Auxiliary is the world's largest patriotic women's organization in the world.
Wow.
We support girl states, where we send girls to a school for a week to learn about the government and how it runs, and helps them become better leaders of our nation. We do a Christmas shop where we supply gifts for the veterans at the VA hospitals, presents that they can pick and choose for their loved ones to give them for Christmas time.
There's a lot.
There's
a lot. We can go on and on.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize also is that the American Legion Auxiliary is actually a separate organization from the American Legion.
Yes.
At the same time, they are part of that family.
Right.
Yes.
They answer to themselves, whereas the Sons of the American Legion
We're a program of.
of the American
We do have our own charter through Congress, but our parent organization is the American Legion. We mirror everything that they do as far as programs go,
Yeah.
but we take it a little further. We actually do. The Sons of the American Legion actually raise more funds for the children and youth than anybody else. It's the Sons of the American Legion was put in place to help the Legion, as our national
Support.
commander says. I always screw that up. Remembering, carrying on the legacy.
Yeah.
Remembering, honoring our heroes. Remembering, carrying on the legacy, and that's what we do. We follow the 4 pillars just like the American Legion. It's a great organization.
The auxiliary and the Sons are there to support the Legion.
Absolutely.
And it should be noted that that's also in reverse. Legion
right.
members are there to support the squadrons,
Yes.
the Sons, and the auxiliary. We are running a little shy of time, and we do have younger members real fast.
We do.
The younger members, they're coming back. What are we doing to try to entice them to join the Legion?
Well, what we're doing is basically, like I said, we're trying to be there for the welcome homes when they come home. We're trying to be there prior to their deployments with the send-offs, to let the families know that we're there. Just the visibility. We're not banging on their doors the second they get home. We know they need that family time. But what we are doing is being visible within the communities, and like I said, being visible in their life, whether it's being visible in the local schools or sponsoring a local team, whether it be baseball, soccer, whatever the case is. But the visibility within the community and just having the information. And what we came up with this year under my commission was just a business card. Instead of handing a boatload of information and a brochure to somebody, like we're soliciting them, especially a business card. Most people cherish a business card. It means something to them. So it usually goes in the wallet, inside of a pocket. That gives them all the information. It gives them the department website. They can go in there, find out all the information they want. All the programs are in there, and they can join right there on site in the local post. So,
I mean, it's
in a nutshell.
We got about actually a minute and a half left. This is another one of those deals where we can actually make this a 3-parter. We'd like to maybe have you come back in the near future.
What outfit?
What hat?
Yeah, it's a man of many hats, and talk more about what's going on. Maybe an update. Maybe you and actually Tom Flowers, the department commander, is always welcome here at the Veterans Corner. One thing I wanted to talk to was about the Coast Guard. I don't think a lot of people realize that the Coast Guard is not part of the DoD, and that's why there was so many issues. They're part of Homeland Security, so that's where all the issues have come up with as far as them getting paid. And a lot of people think they are part of the DoD. Well, it was a very informative show. I'm glad we sat down. There's so much to learn about the American Legion. Legion.org. Legion.org. I encourage the viewers to for more information to look at that website. I mean, there's so much. with that being said, I got no time left. So, I want to thank you again for being here on the Veterans Corner. A special thank you to the viewers. With that being said, I'm Chuck Wooden. You're watching the Veterans Corner. Thank you. God bless and good night.